Howdy friendos, my name is Stuart, and welcome to a surprisingly highly requested video. For the last several years, I have noticed that all of my anime-themed videos tend to break into the 10,000 plus views category, and every single time I do a male character, I get the request to look at one of two guys. The first is Sasuke Uchiha from Naruto, and to be honest, I actually get that one. Someday I will talk about Naruto, and I will actually do a small bit of a, not necessarily a brag, but I used to be the world's biggest Naruto fan growing up. I was the kid who unironically did the Naruto run. I had copies of unreleased pilot manga, and I was actually a Hokage on NarutoArena.net back in the day for about a solid week straight. They actually nerfed the chakra draining strategies because of me. Kabuto, Shino, and Neji were nerfed to the ground because no one could beat my stupid cheese. But that's neither here nor there. The other character I frequently get asked is Kirito, aka Kazuto Kirigaya from Sword Art Online. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of hate both of these characters and these shows for different reasons. Well, actually, come to think of it, it's actually very similar reasons. But when it comes to SAO, everyone agrees at this point that the anime belongs in the guilty pleasure category. If you like it, that's fine. I don't have a problem with you liking it. I'm just saying this show really doesn't work for me. Episode 1 and 2, I thought were actually quite good, but by episode 3, the show communicated to me that it didn't understand its own premise, and it wasn't going to risk killing any characters unless they were pre-packaged with a giant death flag on their character sheets. However, this month I will be doing 4 different characters from various Abridged series. 2 of them will be from Sword Art Online Abridged, and the other 2 characters will actually be people that we've covered on this channel before. Go ahead and take a guess in the comments who you think they'll be. By the way, if you're a YouTube member, you're not allowed to participate in this because there's a really good chance by the time this video comes up that those other 3 videos will be available to channel members and patrons. Plug, plug, plug. But let's get started with our lead. Again, we are going with the Abridged series characterization and not the main series proper. Kazuto Kirigaya at the beginning of the series is a 14-year-old boy who grew up with his sister Sugaha and studied kendo with her until he became interested in computers, programming, and like most people born after 1990, video games. Kirito, as a child, was not well respected by his peers. As he has stated, he did not garner a lot of social wealth in the real world and got bullied a lot. But in video game land, he was practically a god. To quote himself, "Shut up, here I have power." Before the release of Sword Art Online, he was a beta tester. Presumably, he did some bug hunting and even helped write a guide on how to survive the game, despite the fact that he wrote nothing of value. However, in addition to this, Kirito is snarky, egotistical, and rude. But there's nothing to suggest that he's anything more than a kid who was bullied frequently. He even mentions in season 2 that his sister has put him through a lifetime of emotional and physical abuse. Because of this, we'll be starting Kirito, yes, egotistical, snarky, and arrogant Abridged Kirito at True Neutral. But with that out of the way, let's go. This video is brought to you by me and my complete waifu handbook Kickstarter. Thank you, me. You're welcome, me. This promo is to let you know that we are 3 days away from launching. And I know on the last few videos we've been saying we'll be launching September 1st, and that's a bit of an oopsie doopsie on my part. Instead, we'll be launching Tuesday, September 5th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be hosting a live stream that morning so that you know that we'll be launching on that day. Keep your eyes peeled for this thumbnail. This live stream will preview what rewards will be given out during the Kickstarter, as well as our plans going forward and any potential stretch goals that we're going to be attempting to achieve. This stream will also have myself, my wife, our good friend Literature Devil, and possibly Josh Scorcher, the guy who played Kefka in the Kefka alignment video. He actually did all the Pathfinder 2nd Edition stuff for that book. So don't forget to follow the Kickstarter, become a VIP using the link in the description and the pinned comment, and join us September 5th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our complete waifu Kickstarter launch stream. Thank you very much, and on to the video.
Tell me what you did right now, and you may live.
Hide your whiskers on your face.
What?
Wow, congrats. You're defeated by a pig.
You, man, that's like the pig from hell.
The first thing Kirito does after logging into SAO is to stand around for hours mocking another player who had a hard time fighting a boar. Kirito's attitude around this time is something of an immature, harmless troll, and less of a nasty asshole. He clearly can't take it as well as he can give it, however, so he does react poorly to being made fun of back. But nothing about the scene is anything more than chaotic neutral.
If someone on the outside attempts to log you out by removing your nerve gear, well, has anyone seen scanners?
After receiving the exposition dump from Takahata 101, Kirito offers Klein a place in his party to serve as cannon fodder. I find it very unlikely that Kirito was going to let Klein die, and this was more of a genuine invite. But since the invite was a backhanded compliment, the offer was declined. Klein, thinking he was matching Kirito's asshole energy, paid him a compliment but said they should team up with his friends. Kirito, too insecure to take even the most bare bones backtalk, runs away. Chaotic neutral.
He only cared about one thing, and one thing alone, himself. 'Cause in a game of life or death, you either live or you die.
1 month has passed since episode 1. Kirito simply solo queues and gains experience and money on his own, largely ignoring everyone else. True neutral.
Hey everyone! Thank you all for coming to our little powwow. Now, I know many of you may be discouraged by the fact that 2,000 people have died so far.
What?
During a meeting with several other players, Kirito teams up with Asuna because literally every other group rejected him for being a total turd. True neutral.
Can't do anything in this game with
Fuckhead, why don't you all just take a Cheetos and Mountain Dew break and we'll reconvene in an hour? Damn it, guys, I was kidding!
During the raid, Kirito does exactly what he was supposed to do and is actually helpful with Asuna. When he discovered that the Kobold Lord or whatever the hell was using an Odachi, he even tried to Orn Diabell. This did not work, but he did try to save him with a healing potion too, and give him some comforting last words. As unhelpful as they are surprisingly chaotic good.
mine!
Mine!
No, he's mine!
After defeating the Kobold Lord, Kirito then just openly mocks the rest of the gamers in the raid. I think he does this just to be a dick. There's no prompt, and he just mocks them and ninjas the sick-ass coat from Asuna. Chaotic evil? Seriously, weirdly enough, this is one of the things that the main show did better. Like, it's not clear at all why he went all asshole right here, other than him being just an asshole.
Here's the thing, Kirito. I couldn't help but noticing while I was rifling through your character
I
page
thought I had that set to private.
that you are not associated with any guilds.
Kirito is then convinced into joining the Midnight Black Cats. Since he was persuaded via a magic item, this doesn't really warrant a ding. However, he does decide to stay in the guild, and this does result in a true neutral, despite what I just said.
Yo, Sachi, Kata said you ran off or...
Jesus Christ, what's wrong with your eyes?
What? Oh, right, detective mode. One sec. Oh, that's brisk.
After some time, Sachi has a bit of a breakdown, worried that her lag would get her friends killed. Kirito, unsure of how to mock this, is told by Sachi that people think he's an asshole. The two then spend the evening helping him open up and be less of a dick. Presumably, he did eventually help her talk about her own problems, so I'm gonna give that a neutral good.
God, we've been looking for hours. Where is this stupid thing supposed to drop anyway?
Kirito, did Kata even tell us which item we're looking for?
Son of a...
After working through their personal problems, Kirito agrees to help find a rare item in a dungeon in order to repay some mob debt that Kita got them into. While at first Kirito was going to be snarky, at the urging of Sachi, he begrudgingly accepted. Unfortunately for Sachi, she accidentally left the NPC in the party on auto-loot, causing a trap to be sprung that led to their deaths, and the suicide of Kita. All in all, a very bad day for Kirito. Lawful good.
What are you doing out here?
Yeah, I've been having this weird pain in my chest. I was hoping this rare item might be able to fix it.
Well, that's strange. What do you think caused it?
Well, I suppose it started right after I watched my entire guild get slaughtered.
Later, after Klein explains basic human emotions to him, Kirito heads to the forest to kill Santa Claus in the hopes that he will drop an item that will resurrect his friends. Unfortunately, this backfires, and he realizes the item was just the charisma hat. He kills the last part of himself that was capable of feeling warmth towards others and leaves. While Kirito is definitely not being kind to himself this episode, the attempt to resurrect your friends should be labeled as neutral good.
Yes, Mina! Evolve into a beautiful dragon and we'll fly through the night to freedom!
After saving a random girl from getting Sachi'd, that's so mean, Kirito then follows up with additional care, despite the fact that he really doesn't have any need to do so, and even regrets doing so. Neutral good.
Well, I guess it all started when I was born. My mom was a bit of a drinker. But sober, that was just not in the cards.
The rest of the episode is genuinely one of the funniest episodes of an Abridged series ever. The rest of this episode is dedicated to evil, petty Kirito. He ran into Rosalia and got backhanded compliment. He then volunteered himself to a lengthy and difficult quest to revive Silica's pet. He only did this because he knew that Rosalia would end up attempting to jump both of them for the pet reviving artifact. Kirito then takes the opportunity to style all over the gang and kill Rosalia. Yeah, Kirito straight up kills her for insulting him, also attempting to murder an innocent girl, but largely just for the insult. This level of pettiness, while a Nat 20 episode, is obviously chaotic evil.
So, how are you doing?
Fine. Why?
Well, you did just kill someone. Doesn't that make you feel something?
Oh, feelings? Yeah, I don't have those anymore.
Also, Kirito's realization that he needs to allow himself to be vulnerable again so that he can feel revenge doesn't really warrant an alignment ding. But it is worth knowing that Kirito is going to start feeling emotions again in order to get over his extremely deep depression.
Once he's there, he'll be too distracted killing NPCs to notice us. Then we move in for the kill.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! We can't just go around sacrificing NPCs.
Just like in the show proper, Kirito insists that the team he's raiding with shouldn't use NPCs as human shields, which is extremely stupid in the show proper, but an emotionally charged action in the Abridged series, which comically ends with him disemboweling his previous NPC friend. Honestly, a welcome change. Also, disemboweling an NPC isn't really anything but chaotic neutral.
You want to know what I did today?
Not particularly, but I suspect that wasn't a real question.
I was fighting goddamn sheep tar!
Also, skipping out on the boss because you got too high on random plants is chaotic neutral. Also, drawing a kitty cat on your friend's unconscious face, while not a separate ding, but it is funny and chaotic neutral.
So, did anyone see where the candy went, or...
Christ's sake, Kirito, a man just died! Let it go!
The rest of episode 5 and 6 are Kirito and Asuna solving a Moida conspiracy. During that time, Asuna is actually being a decent person, and Kirito is going along to prove how smart he is. Despite saving an innocent man from a painful revenge death, dismantling Black Coffin, and bringing out the real murderer of whatever the fuck this lady's name was, Kirito only did this because he thought it was either funny or to fuel his own ego. This is the textbook definition of chaotic neutral.
You have exactly 30 seconds before I burn this place to the ground. 1, 2, 3.
Kirito goes to see Liz, a semi-famous blacksmith. Honestly, I'm not sure if he targeted her on purpose or if this is random, but either way, he needs a new sword since he discovered he can dual wield now, and he threw his last one away. Kirito breaks her best sword in her shop and basically blackmails her into making a new one. Gotta say, a pretty lawful evil move.
Get your teleport crystal ready and hide over there until I finish off the dragon.
What? Are you nuts? You can't fight that thing alone!
Do it, Sachi! Alright, so we're just gonna pretend that didn't happen.
If this line had been in the main series proper, I say it probably would have redeemed the entire show for me. Because, what a line. Kirito's pain from losing Sachi helps him reignite his urge to protect others. He's kind to Liz as they climb up the mountain and does everything in his power to help her, in his own special way. He even saves her against the dragon boss. Chaotic good.
Teleport Lindis!
We may have celebrated too soon.
Oh, good. That's really what this day needed.
Realizing the day was a wash, the two decide to teleport away, but the crystals aren't working. Instead, they sleep in the dragon toilet pit where Liz emotion dumps all over Kirito, which is appropriate considering their location. Kirito, feeling his own pain, asks her to stop and they hold hands and fall asleep. The next morning, Kirito digs up a rare dragon poop ingot, carries Liz back to the surface, and unwittingly helps her through an emotional breakthrough. Chaotic good.
I maxed out cooking.
And feminism marches on.
What was that?
Pretty much off-screen, Kirito got an S-class ingredient and was trying to sell it. However, Asuna just casually runs into him and offers him a dinner date at knife point and demands that they party it up for a while. Kirito is justifiably confused, but just kind of accepts it. True neutral.
Ah! Hey, Asuna. How are you this month?
The next day, Asuna and Kirito meet up to go dungeon diving. Surprisingly, this is not a metaphor yet. And Asuna manipulates Kirito into beating up and dueling her underling so that he would stop stalking her. Kirito, justifiably, feels a bit annoyed, but continues to pal around with Asuna as they head to floor 74 of the dungeon. There, they share a meal and discover the horrible back edge of the S-class rabbit. Chaotic neutral.
This is stupid. Why should I care what happens to any of them? They're all just a bunch of stupid sheep that let Korbot turn them off a cliff. They knew exactly what they were walking into. Which just begs the question, why am I still here?
How many Nat 20 scenes can a parody series get? This was the scene that made me say, damn, Kirito is so cool, and I will never forgive Something Witty for making me think those words. This took a cliche anime scene and turned it into a fantastic character leap. Mind you, Kirito wasn't urged by either Asuna, who at this point they both kind of accepted it are getting together, or Klein. He just ran in to save them because he's been through the ringer emotionally throughout 7 other episodes. I'll talk about this more in the post-analysis, but great scene with a great payoff. Neutral good.
We have important matters to discuss. Kirito, by now, all of Eingrad has seen the video.
Which, by the way, I could not be happier about.
Kirito gets approached by Heathcliff, the leader of SAO's top guild, and he is asked what it would take to get him recruited into their ranks. Kirito instead challenges him to a duel, not to test his own strength, but because he wants to humiliate him in front of as many people as possible. This does not work, but still earns Kirito an attempted chaotic evil.
This can't be happening. I don't want to join a guild.
Well, then why would you challenge the commander of all people?
Since he was thoroughly trounced, he joined the Red Knight Guild. Guys, I have no idea. I hate SAO. Anyway, he joins Asuna's guild and then gets set up with Godfried, the role player, who takes him and Asuna's previous bodyguard out for a team building exercise. Kirito goes along with it but then gets spiked with poison. The ugly old dude who looks exactly like me if I was skinny and hairless does a villain monologue, which Kirito absolutely does not let him enjoy. Kirito's defiance and refusing to let the guy get any sort of win is chaotic neutral.
Asuna? Not that I'm complaining, but how did you know I was in trouble? And how did you get here so fast?
I may have been sort of tailing you since you left.
Also, despite the fact that Asuna saved him and is pouring her soul out to him, Kirito constantly responds with snark because this is a comedy, and also he doesn't know how to process emotion. He and Asuna then go and share a meal, enact chapter 16.5, look it up, and then they decide to get married. Honestly, this whole bit is just a great Nat 20 joke, and I'm fully aware that I have a surprising amount of sex scenes in this series that end up with Nat 20s, but I ain't even sorry for this one. This shit was funny.
Hey, do you think getting married was the worst mistake of our lives?
Anyway, we're finally here at the episode that made me rage quit SAO proper, the Honeymoon episode. In the Abridged series, this episode is used to show exactly how unprepared for marriage both Kirito and Asuna were. However, they're both so bullheaded and stubborn, they are still refusing to admit the mistake. During the episode, the AI daughter Yui appears in their house and they get to use her as a weapon against each other in order to get them to quit the marriage. The episode continues to escalate as the couple go to adopt more children, go rescue a moron from a dungeon, and get in a fight with death. Fortunately, Yui, their AI daughter, was also able to save them. Throughout most of this episode, Kirito and Asuna are in very petty battle of wills that don't really amount to anything. Chaotic neutral.
So, I imagine you have some questions.
Yeah, maybe a couple.
Yui explains what she is and what she did, apologizes, and explains how happy her short time with the two meant to her. Kirito manages to hack into the admin console and save her data into an item.
That is definitely what hacking looks like. A bunch of zeros and ones.
They agree to resurrect her when they get out of the game and continue to be married. Neutral good.
That way, when we finally beat this game, we can bring her back. And then we can tell her how we really feel.
Oh, Kirito!
Also, I love this scene. These two are very cute and very funny. They talk out their differences and decide to try to make it work. Lawful good.
Yeah, me too.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin, I'd like to take this moment to thank all of you for your courage in joining me here today.
After their honeymoon, Kirito and Asuna were summoned by Heathcliff to fight the floor boss. However, due to some Kirito shenanigans, the King of Ashes attempts to attack them, so the guild are forced into the boss room without proper preparation. Fortunately, or unfortunately, the boss dies on its own and traps the guild in the room. Chaotic neutral.
After all we've been through, it ain't even a boss that does us in. It's a damn game-breaking glitch. Can't even starve to death.
That'd be a mercy.
Now, cheer up, guys! There's no need to be so melodramatic.
A few hours pass and the group commiserates over the game as Heathcliff becomes a little defensive. Kirito is about the only one who can relate to him when he makes a Tron reference. Thanks to Heathcliff's reaction, Kirito was able to piece together his identity as the game designer who trapped them in SAO. As his identity is revealed, Kayaba paralyzes everyone and decides to peace out. But first, Kirito challenges him to the death, and if he wins, everyone would be freed. Heathcliff agrees, and they fight. chaotic good. Also, can we talk about how good 30 Seconds to Mars This Is War is as an opening sequence? I ignored it at the beginning of the review, but holy shit, I absolutely love this song for this series. It matches the mood, pacing, and emotions of this scene completely. To me, this might be the best abridged opener ever, and seeing it play off in this fight is fantastic. This song alone elevates a subpar canon fight to a nat 20 scene. Well done, something witty. Bra fucking vo. Unfortunately, Heathcliff is in fact the cheating X4 faggot, and his numbers are way bigger than Kirito's, and his sword is shattered upon the shield. In shock, Kirito is about to be killed when suddenly Asuna jumps in the way of the attack. She dies in his arms, and Kirito is too emotionally broken to fight. Heathcliff stabs him, taunting Kirito with more movie quotes. Kirito, refusing to allow someone else to get in the last word, quotes Mythbusters, and the two shatter into the next scene. Chaotic neutral.
Unfortunately, in your sleep-deprived state, you accidentally managed to create a glitch that kills players when their avatars die!
The endgame is pretty hilarious. So apparently in the canon SAO, Kayaba couldn't remember why he created SAO as a death game.
Oh my god, no! Could you imagine? 2 years and that's what I give you? Man, that'd be unsatisfying!
And in the Abridged series, it's revealed that he was sleep-deprived and Sword Art Online was unprepared for launch. So he worked 3 weeks straight, and because he created a glitch that killed players, rather than fix this, he played it off like it was on purpose. This is really funny. Anyway, once he leaves, Kirito and Asuna have a very sweet last moment together before Kirito is released back into the real world, kicking off Season 2. Awful good. To me, Sword Art Online Abridged might actually be the greatest Abridged series currently being made, and that is because it takes many of the problems people had with the show and fixed them, with, I'm going to use air quotes there, and made it a much more palatable series. I've mentioned in several videos that I hate the term problematic. It's a purposely vague and loaded word that means whatever the hell it wants someone to mean. It also tends to ascribe moral decency to a work of fiction that frankly doesn't deserve it. I'll talk about this more in the Asuna video coming out in 2 weeks, but there are many elements of the original series that I understand actually when people say they're problematic. Even though I hate that word, I think it works for Sword Art Online specifically because this is a show meant for a young male audience. A young male audience who are incredibly impressionable and use entertainment as a means of figuring out how to interact with people. What I love most about Abridged Kirito is the fact that he is a well-written young male teen who literally has no idea what the fuck he's doing, but suddenly finds himself at the top of the social, economic, and literal power ladder. Kirito is a kid who has had no social success in his life, and once he gets trapped into a video game, he is now basically the world's most powerful individual, and despite having the capacity to be king, he simply uses his power to belittle and abuse others. This is literally a power fantasy shown in a fairly realistic manner. Kirito is an angry, edgy kid who got to live the dream of being top dog. He actually did it. And because he's such a nasty turd who thinks others are beneath him, he squanders every single social opportunity that he has in the Abridged series. He lost out in becoming the leader of a powerful guild when Klein invited him. He lost out on a romance with Lisbeth because he belittled her. And he also looks like a colossal douchebag whenever he's even slightly wrong because he put all of his social value in being a guy who's always right. He's basically the human version of Excalibur from Soul Eater. He's immensely powerful, but too annoying to deal with. And also, somewhat realistically, it took the relationship of someone who he viewed as an equal to bring out the real humanity in him. Watching Abridged Kirito go from a smarmy, insufferable, and yes, funny, douchebag to a hero who fights for his friends is incredibly satisfying. And as I mentioned before, something witty entertainment made me think the words, "Holy shit, Kirito is so cool," without a single hint of irony. And like I mentioned in my ding-dings, I will never fucking forgive them for that. I will likely never cover SAO proper. I'm sorry. I know there are fans out there who really want me to cover it, and I know like it's not as bad as we pretend it to be, but man, it's just not for me, guys. It's not even Kirito, it's just the whole series. It's just not really good. Well, I suppose there is one thing that could convince me to do SAO proper. Thank you to the patrons, and I'll see you all next time.